In Alchemy, it made sense to put a voice mix there. So you've got your different volumes for A, B, C, and voices A, B, C, and D down here as well. And the way that it works with the panorama is all of this section is an envelope. This section is an envelope, or whatever it happens to be. So you've got like a little mixer here for Alchemy, and then your main volume, your output volume for the synths is virtually always on here, depending. Obviously, if you've got vintage draw bars, they're going to be draw bars. It makes sense to the plugin, but I mean. One reason that 8 controls isn't enough is you need a master volume control for your plugin.
Sure.
You know, especially if you're going to play live with it. So, and on top of that, having the volume here, you've also got your channel volume down there, of course.
The channel output fader, right?
Exactly. We just see what Logic sees, and that's one of the real downsides of the solution that some controllers are taking now, which is the kind of VST hosting plugin that sits on your track. Right. You have to load the track, or a wrapper. You know, you have to load these up on every single track, and then you have to load the plugin in there. So you're actually controlling the host that's on the track. So it's outside of Logic. It's not Logic. So it can't see Logic's internal instruments. So you won't be able to control Alchemy with a VST host plugin, with a controller that's got a VST host plugin on there.
Right, because you can't wrap it in.
Yeah.
I mean, we've still got transport and sends and inserts and all that stuff to look at, so we've better crack on.
Yeah, so going back to mixer mode, you can see, staying in Alchemy for now. So you can set your EQ up for Alchemy. You can, obviously, these are you've got your 8 different bands of EQ. This is Logic's EQ. If we go to the sends, we can actually set up a send. Let's do that. Let's set up a send, bus 3, set that up. So I've added a send track now, and if I go back here, I can select that send track like so, and then go to inserts. I can add an insert onto the send track.
Directly from the controller, so no mousing around.
So I could add a let's say we already had some. Let's add a delay one.
Right, and that's just popped straight up.
Exactly. Now, if I go back to Alchemy, hit the sends button, you can see now I can. So now I can add delay. I've done this all from the controller, you see, which is great.
I notice you're not looking over there at all. I'm the one who's kind of going
completely.
And also, we're not looking at the mixer window or any of that stuff. It's just throwing out information where we need it.
Yeah.
Right.
If you want to look at the mixer window, press the view button in mixer mode. If you want to look at the instrument GUI, press the view button in instrument mode. And actually, when the instrument GUI or the plugin GUI is active, the patch buttons will go through different patches of the plugin that's active as well. Which is
you've still got
a key point that I forgot to point out.
Yeah, well, no, that is actually quite important, because the one thing that I find incredibly frustrating with a lot of controllers is it's very hard to flip through presets from the controller. You tend to have to mouse it and click it, and also stepping up and stepping down. That doesn't always work.
No, of course, and in the situations, because of course a lot of controllers have their own internal preset list of browsing, but you can also, if we just go back to have a look at Alchemy quickly, oops, there we go. Anything you can do with these buttons, you see up and down to try and change them. You've also got QWERTY keystrokes. If I hold down this, I've got up and down buttons there as well, so I can browse through categories that way as well. You can tab. You can set up an F keys patch, if you like, for all of that, tab, forward, that kind of thing. So you can navigate windows. You can navigate floating windows. Of course, enter and escape are important. So patch browsing with Panorama is very, very easy.
Right. Okay. So that's the sends.
moving quickly on. That's the sends. Going back to mixer mode. Of course, we got our smart controls. So the smart controls have up to 16 smart controls. Press the view button, you can see what they are. And if I go up to a different track, you can see it all completely updates. So you always get the feedback from the smart controls.
Smart controls, I'm not familiar with that in Logic X. They're kind of like macros for tracks, effectively.
Yeah. They're stored as channel settings, I believe. When you load a new channel, it loads instruments, effects, but also smart controls as well. And yeah, they're kind of global to the track rather than just the instrument and stuff. And what's nice about the smart controls in this case is because you've already got such such complete mapping of your instrument, in this case Ultrabeat. Remember how I said that the arpeggiator is Logic's arpeggiator, which is nice because you don't have to set up any synchronized settings and all the complicated stuff that any external arpeggiator does. Here I've got myself like a note repeat effect by using the arpeggiator. Perhaps I want to slow the rate down. Now, unfortunately, we can't access the parameters of the arpeggiator yet through Apple's API. But what we can do is set them up on the smart controls. So, going back to the smart controls, bring them into view. You can select a control like so, and then map it to. Let's have a look. Map it to the arpeggiator rate, and you can see here now. If I go back to my smart panel, I've got myself I can change the rate of it, and then switching between instrument mode, I've still got my Ultrabeat control here, and then one button press, and I've got my arpeggiation control, if you like. So it remembers the page that you're in when you go to mode, so it's quick and easy to find your way around. As we said, we added an insert on the send in order to get that send effect. But perhaps if we go back to the Alchemy track and press the inserts where we haven't got many, you can see you can go up to 15 slots.
So these are adding inserts onto the instrument effects track. So adding
these are
effects.
Inserts on top of what's there. So you can you choose the effect you want to add. Let's add some crushing, and it pops up in insert slot 2 for you. And again, you can start editing it straight away. So it's a really, really quick and easy way of doing things.
So again, with the transport control, we get access to all of the locate points and all of that kind of thing too, as we'd expect. Yep,
transport mode is kind of what completes the user experience, if you like. 6 controls is never enough for transport control. We always have the extended ones up here, which is go to the start and end of the loop, undo, click track, and record mode, or record arm in this case. If you do a recording, you don't like it, undo. I use that button all the time. It's wearing out, as you can probably see. Obviously, metro and click track, all of this stuff, normally you have to be reaching over here or using the mouse for. So to claim, mouseless production with just these 6 controls is just simply not true. These are what kind of really keeps you in your flow when you're creating music. But on top of that, we've also got the ability to set up auto punch. I can turn on my auto punch here and there. I can move the auto punch around. You see how what that's doing on the display there. You can set the punch start and end separately, and then carry on moving it around. Counting it on and off, you can move the loop around, set quantize. There's also a scrub control. You can see here at the moment, this is just working like a locator. But if I change the scrub, and if it goes to play, I can now start scrubbing with the data encoder in transport mode, which is quite a nice little feature.
Going to be useful if you've got for like drum track edits and that sort of thing.
That's right, yeah. Of course, you can move your cycle markers around with these controls, move it along in the length of the cycle as well. So record one cycle, go to the next part. You can set up markers. You can add and insert markers with the pads. Now, when this is on, regardless of what mode I'm on, those pads are going to be doing markers. Obviously, because it's the pads that are controlling the markers, you're locating markers 1 to 8, setting and deleting markers, and then forward and back. Because it's the pads that are doing it, the P1 over there doesn't have the pads. So what the P1 has instead of markers is a switch which allows you to toggle record on and off with your foot.
A foot switch,
which is great for guitarists.
Ah, right, handy. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in there, Tim.
It's a major update.
And so this is free to people who already own a Panorama product, right? So how does that work? They just log in and get hold of it?
If you've already got the integration, just download the integration that it's the same location as you're used to. You basically go, if you buy a Panorama, you register it, and then you're given an account, and through our website you go into My Downloads and you download the package for the DAW that you want to support, and you get what you saw at the start of the presentation.
Right, and then you just
run the installers and you're off. Yeah.
Right. Tim, that's been very helpful. Thank you very much for coming down and showing us. Okay, well that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. We hopefully have some more videos on the subject of the Panorama P4 and various different DAW integrations. But that's it for this time. Don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll be told as soon as we upload anything new. Thanks for watching. See you next time.